welcome to Engaged Citizens of Columbia County. I am your host, Sherry Ryan, and I am here today with Rick Fletcher, who is the candidate for Columbia River Fire and Rescue Board. Hi.
Hi.
Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know you have a busy thing going on, like in your life and personal stuff. And so, really, thank you so much for taking the time to do this for our community. And so, thank you for being here.
No problem. Thank you for helping put this out.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, Rick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and just kind of your personal life and such?
Well, I'm a lifelong resident of the county and of the fire district. In fact, I've lived on the same road all my life. I
Wow.
grew up in the fire service. My dad was a battalion chief with Rainier Fire from 74 on up till about 2008 when he retired. He was a
Hmm.
battalion chief and a EMTI or actually one, excuse me, EMT one. And my mom was an EMT one also. She joined as a volunteer.
Oh,
They
wow.
used to run the ambulance back when Rainier Fire was all volunteer. And
Hmm.
then down the road, we got some funding and we got, some firefighter paramedics on shift. But he continued to do that. And I got the pleasure of responding and volunteering with my dad for many years before he
Oh my
retired.
gosh. That's awesome.
So I've had a vested interest in the fire service for a long time. I spent a lot of childhood memories growing up in the fire station and doing toy and joy programs all the way up through high school. And I became a volunteer firefighter back in 1990 after I got out of high school and got married. And I still am a volunteer firefighter to this day. I carry a lot of state certs. I went to work for Columbia River Fire in '94 and as a mechanic and as a volunteer and worked for, actually at that time it was St. Helens Fire. Later became Columbia River Fire in 2001. And I worked with them until 2019. And I moved on to another department. I left there and took another job. So
Okay.
I volunteered for a while with the district because I still live in the district up until I was booted out.
Okay. Okay. Um, can you, mentioning how you were saying that, when it merged and became Columbia River Fire and Rescue, can you give us a little bit of history on that for those who are new to the area or like myself just do not know how that was?
Sure, sure. Rainier Fire District in the 70s, when Trojan was built and was operating, Trojan actually paid Rainier Fire District about half of their annual budget for offsite. They had to pay for offsite fire protection for the NRC rules. So they were actually not annexed in the fire district. Their fence line was the boundary. They were like a little island in our fire district, but they paid us money to be the fire protection for them. And we went down there every year and did annual drills and got to see different places of the plant. Yeah, when they closed up in 94, 95, when they finally shut down, um, Rainier Fire was going to be hurting really bad because now as a not operating nuclear plant, they didn't have to have on site. They didn't have to pay that contract for the on site fire protection.
Okay.
So what happened was the fire district annexed the plant property into the fire district. So we got some money back based on the value of the plant of the property. And then over the years, as Trojan dismantled it and fought in courts the value of it, they got it valued down to nothing over the next
Mm.
6 or 7 years. So by about 2000, the plant was worth nothing, and that it took away about half of Rainier's budget. So Rainier was hurting fiscally to be able to provide 24/7 ambulance coverage, to have paid paramedics on duty. So we joined into an IGA, an intergovernmental agreement contract with St. Helens Fire at the time. And basically, Rainier gave all their money to St. Helens and let St. Helens administer the department, pay the firefighters, run the department. Yeah, it was a contract for a year. It was kind of like dating in a marriage to see how things worked out and work some problems out. And we did that for a year, and it seemed to work, and it seemed to be the fix for the problems. And at that time, St. Helens tax rate was like, I don't remember exactly, but I say it was around $4 a thousand. It was one of the highest tax rates in the state. And Rainier's was like $1.17, one of the lowest.
Oh, wow.
So when we put a ballot out to merge, we had to go to the voters. The voters had to approve the merge of the districts. They also had to approve a vote to dissolve the Rainier Fire District and the St. Helens. They had to dissolve and then form a new district. So there was
Mm.
three ballot measures that had to be passed. They all passed and it happened. And when it was done, The state then reset a new budget or tax base based on the merged two districts, and it came out to the 298 1,000, I believe we're at now. And
Okay.
that's how Columbia River Fire. Then it was originally St. Helens Rainier Fire for a year, and then they did a contest in 2001 too there, and it came up with Columbia River Fire and Rescue as our new name. So it's been
Okay.
that since.
And that covers the Rainier and St. Helens district.
Yes, it covers from like Tarbell Road, the site of
Okay.
Scappoose, up to about Heath Road and Rainier at the top of Rainier Hill.
Okay. Okay. Well,
So
thank you for that background and that history. And because, I've always been confused about that. And so you just explained it beautifully. Thank you. Um,
okay,
because, Scappoose has their own, Clatskanie has their own, Vernonia has their own, but those two are merged, and that makes sense. Thank you so much.
yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what is motivating you right now to run for the CRFR board? Why do you want to be a part of the board?
Well, as I said, I worked for Columbia River for many years. I only left
Hmm.
there 3 years ago. I still
Yeah.
have close friendship with a lot of the guys that are working there, the crews that are there, and the paramedics.
Hmm.
And I'm seeing what's going on there, and I'm seeing the loss of people. I'm seeing people bailing out of like a sinking ship and going to other departments.
Mm.
I've even had some of the volunteers and some of the paid staff contact me where I work now, wanting to know about lateral transfers or can they volunteer
Mm.
at another department even though they don't live in the district because they're just tired of the way things are going there. It's just a real sad state of affairs right now for morale around the
Yeah.
department.
Yeah.
And I know it was a great department. We were a great department for many years. We were one of the first departments to use. I want to call it TPA. I'm not a medic, but it was like I think it was
Okay.
TPA. It was a blood clot breaking drug for strokes, and we were the
Okay.
first department in the state to have it. We were widely publicized for that, for being on the top of the cutting edge there and doing that. And we had a lot of stuff like that in
Nice.
the fire department. And to
Hmm.
see it turn around and go where it's at now, it's really disturbing. And I can't just sit back and watch it anymore. I have to try to get involved.
Yeah, you're like, no, 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 no. I want to help save this
Yeah.
amazing,
Well,
entity.
yeah, it means a lot because it's also I live in the fire district. I want them to be able to come to my house if I need them, and show up here
Right.
with qualified, trained people.
Yeah.
It's right now it's really hard to hire paramedics. There's just a
Hmm.
shortage of them nationwide. The
Yeah.
private ambulance companies are paying really well now and offering sign-in bonuses and stuff to get them,
Mm.
and they don't want to come do this when they can go there. So, I mean, it's just got
Okay.
more competitive to hire them, and we can't afford to
Okay.
lose these guys. These guys have experience, and we need to treat them that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. The morale needs to come up. I know that these kind of situations, and I've used the word sticky just because there's a lot of things going on, but these sticky situations have been going on for a while, and it's just coming kind of to a head recently. So, um, can you tell us about what a board member does?
Well, board members in Oregon, I actually am a board member on another board for the cemetery district.
Okay.
So, and I've been to board meetings for many, many years since I started working
Hmm.
there in '94. I started attending board meetings. So I have a lot of ideas what they do, but I am a board
Hmm.
member currently. The board sets policy for the district. The board oversees an annual budget, has to approve an annual budget. The board hires a director or a fire chief, a person in charge in the fire district. And then, like I say, and then we set policies. We can set operational policies, personnel policies, or even job descriptions.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's really what the board does, and then we rely on the chief to filter that down from there down through the ranks. So
Okay. Okay. And, holding the chief accountable, is that part of, the duties of a board?
yes, it is, and that's where I
Hmm.
feel it. They haven't done that, and if anybody else in the department had these allegations against them, these lawsuits or these harassment investigations, hostile workplace, they would have normally been put on an administrative leave while this is investigated. It's
Yeah.
happened before in the fire district a few years back under the last, well, under Jay Tappan's chief. We had this happen, and the person was put on administrative leave while an investigation happened. And that's normal
Okay.
policy to get them out of there and then bring a third party in to do the investigation. And this board
Yeah.
has not done that. They didn't bring in an outside party to fully investigate these. Then they have HR people that aren't properly trained in HR to actually handle the sexual harassment claims that were made. They
Mm,
weren't handled properly. They weren't taken seriously.
mm,
It's all in the lawsuit. If you read that, I've talked to the
yeah.
members that have made the allegations, and that's not the way the fire district and the board should have handled this. That's my opinion.
Mm,
That's why
okay.
I'm getting involved.
Yeah. You've shared your qualifications, and you are very highly qualified to deal with, anything to do with the fire and rescue, entity here in our community.
Yeah.
What makes you stand apart from others to, why would you say, you know what, you should vote for me?
Well, hopefully people have trust in me. I'm a trustworthy person.
Yeah.
When I was there, I was working on 12 other outside agencies' vehicles. I was in charge of the shop maintenance from
Mm,
'05 till I left in 2019. I was doing work for Columbia County Sheriff's Office, Scappoose Fire, Solvies Island Fires, ODF,
mm,
Clatskanie Fire, West Wanna Mill Fire, um, Miss Birkenfield Vernonia Fire, a lot of agencies, and they all trusted me to do their stuff, and they trusted me to not. I didn't need to call them for every repair. They had
mm,
faith in me that if I said something needed done, I just do it and let them know it was taken care of, and they knew that their rig came back prepared. And
yeah.
I'm trustworthy in that way. I think.
Hmm.
I'm also not afraid to tackle these tough issues. This is going to be a tough issue if we get elected. If I get elected, I know
Yeah.
this is going to be a tough issue to straighten out. It's not going to happen overnight. We have
Hmm.
to work within our budget constraints, and we have to work within the legal stuff to straighten this out. We have to talk to our legal advisors and make sure we do everything right, cross the T's, dot the I's to make this come out right. And it's going to take some work.
For sure. How do you, uh, how do you propose that if you were voted in, if you were elected, that you would handle these situations?
Well, again, I'm gonna definitely be talking to SDAO, our legal, about what we
Hmm.
can do. I would personally like to see the chief then put on administrative leave, and
Hmm.
even the other members in the lawsuit that were accused of sexual harassment, if necessary, put them on leave. And if that's the case, sometimes SDO will provide a temporary chief, usually a retired chief that works for them that can come in and fill in the spot while the chief's out of the office, basically be the voice of the district, and then and do a full investigation, hire an outside agency and do an outside investigation and have this all done by a third party. We talk about transparency. We
Yeah,
have to have an outside agency to make it transparent. If we investigate ourselves, that's not transparent. So
exactly. Exactly. Wow. Um, what do you think? I know that there is a lot that is, being viewed as going wrong right now. What do you view maybe that, the Columbia River Fire and Rescue is some things that they've done right, or some things that they've, got a good handle on? And then, you know, what about those? Is there anything good? And then what are the things you've already talked about what you would
yeah,
do coming in, but what
sure.
are some things that you see them doing right?
Well, what's going right now? I'm going to give the credit to the crews. The
Yeah.
crews are still going out and doing their calls. They're still doing the customer care, taking care of the patients the way they're supposed to, providing excellent customer care, and doing everything they're supposed to do, even in the hard turmoil they have back in the firehouse. They're not letting that keep them from doing the proper job they do, they agreed to do, and they
Yeah.
took an oath to do. So that's the best thing that I can see right now is that the crews are doing the right thing. I can't say I think the admin's doing anything great right now. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen anything in several months. Like I said, I
Mm-hmm.
go to all the board meetings as often as I can. I don't miss very many, and I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff done right by the board.
Mm.
So,
Okay,
but the
wow.
but the crews are they're perfect. They're just right up there. They're heroes.
Yeah,
So
for sure, for sure. Wow. Well, it is, I was listening to the recording of the Kohai radio station show, the Odd Friday and the Setting the Record Straight from Kohai on Friday. And they were talking about this also, and that, and I don't know all the history, and it's just like this has gone for a while. And so it does seem like there needs to be some things done. So I really appreciate you being willing to do this. This is a volunteer position. And I always tell all of our candidates that are being elected into these volunteer positions, like, good for you. Like, good for you for wanting to come into that and do work for free to make our community better. So Thank you for, being willing to do this. If elected, Rick, um, how would you want people to contact you? Is that something that you're open to? People just contacting you straight, to your email or to your phone number or such. What
Well,
do you think about that and how important that is?
my email was probably best. I get lots of spam phone calls and I don't answer them. I get
Okay.
all ever since signed my dad up for Medicare, I get calls for ARP and post all kinds of stuff for seniors. So I
Yeah.
don't answer a lot of phone calls unless I know the
Hmm.
number. So, but if they
Yeah.
email me, I'll reply back or give me a phone number and I'll call back. That's the
Yeah.
best way because otherwise I'd be wasting all my day at work answering phone calls.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Well, I'm going to be posting your email that you gave me, and that will be out for the community to use and to access so that if they have questions right now, they want to talk to you, they want to bring things to you, and then after elected, how to contact you and such. So,
okay.
thank you so much. And I hope to talk to you soon.
All
And
right.
good luck. Okay.
Thank you for doing this and putting this out. I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you. My pleasure. You take care.
All right. You too.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.